What is your saddest story that brings you to tear? The saddest story I know, the one that still brings me to tears, happened several years ago, back when I worked in a smaller town and took the train every day. Every morning, I saw an older man sitting on a bench right next to the platform. We never spoke, just exchanged a small nod. He was always tidy, wearing clean shoes and an old coat that clearly had many years behind it. He usually held a small paper bag in his hands. It took me nearly 2 weeks to notice the pattern. Every day, when the 8:07 train arrived, he stood up, straightened his back a little, and watched people step off. He always looked like he was expecting someone. And every time no one came, he quietly sat down again, eyes lowered. One rainy, dim morning, I arrived early and saw him sitting there with a folded letter in his hand. He hesitated before acknowledging me with a slight smile. Then he said, "I'm waiting for someone who might not come." I wasn't sure if he wanted to talk, but after a moment he continued, speaking more to the air than to me. He told me about his son. How they had argued years ago over something small that grew into something much bigger. His son moved far away, stopped calling, stopped writing. The man had sent dozens of letters, but only got one reply, a formal confirmation that his letter had been received. Nothing after that. But on this day, he said, lifting the letter slightly, he once wrote that he'd come. Every year, on this exact day. I missed him once, and he never tried again. His voice cracked a little. Maybe I'm afraid that one day he'll show up and I won't be here, so I'd rather wait. That day, no one stepped off the train who looked like the person he hoped for. And I'll never forget the sight of him gently tucking the letter back into his coat, almost as if he were putting away something precious, before slowly walking off. After that morning, I started noticing that he wasn't there just once a year. He came often, maybe every day. Then one morning, a few months later, he wasn't there. Not the next day either. On the third day, I saw a small sign attached to his usual bench. It was a brief note from the station staff saying that the elderly man everyone knew had passed away. No family had come forward. Below the typed message, someone had added a handwritten line, "We hope he finally met the one he'd been waiting for." I don't know why, but I stood there longer than usual, and for the first time in a long while, I understood how heavy regret can become when someone carries it their entire life, and how sometimes there's no one left to call to fix it.